Hey, coin collectors! Let me ask you a question. What would you do if you found a penny worth over $1 million? Yeah, you heard that right, $1 million. You'd probably feel like you found a secret treasure chest hidden under your couch cushions, and now, imagine you're just minding your business, maybe cleaning out some old change, and you stumble across a 1995 penny without a mint mark. At first glance, it might seem like just another regular coin. But, my friend, this little guy could be worth a small fortune, up to $1.1 million. A single penny is worth more than my car? Well, I'm about to explain how a coin like this went from a regular penny to a showstopper on the coinmarket.so. Grab your magnifying glass, because we're diving into the mysterious world of the 1995 no mint mark Lincoln penny. And don't forget, stick around till the end because I've got some killer tips on how to spot valuable pennies in your own collection. You don't want to miss out. Just another coin from the 90s, no big deal. Well, it turns out that tiny mint mark or lack thereof is what makes this penny a potential goldmine. The United States Mint makes coins at different locations around the country, and each coin is stamped with a mint mark to tell us where it was made. Normally, pennies have one, like the D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco. But the 1995 penny that has no mint mark? That's a bit of a mystery. See, this particular penny was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, but it was accidentally struck without the usual P mint mark. Well, coins that were meant to have mint marks but don't are often more valuable. It's like finding a rare collectible baseball card with a printing error. It's the imperfection that makes it sought after. Here's where things get really interesting. The 1995 no mint mark penny is extremely rare. A lot of them were struck with the P mint mark, but not all of them. Coin collectors love these little mysteries, and because of that, the 1995 no mint mark penny has become one of the most valuable coins for serious collectors. And now, let's talk about the money part. If you've got one of these coins in good condition, it could be worth up to $1.1 million. That's right, a single penny could get you a pretty sweet paycheck. But, and here's the catch, finding a 1995 penny in excellent condition is harder than finding your car keys when you're running late. The condition is everything in the coin world, folks. Coins that are in uncirculated or mint condition fetch the highest prices. If your penny is covered in scratches, dirt, or has been through the laundry a few too many times, it's not going to bring in the big bucks. A nice, clean, error-free penny is your ticket to that millionaire lifestyle. Alright, let me give you the quick rundown on how to check your change and see if you've got a hidden gem. Grab a magnifying glass or a loupe. If you don't have one, get one, seriously, and take a good look at the reverse side of the penny. You should be looking at the area where the mint mark usually sits, just below the year. If there's no D or S and it's totally blank, you've got yourself a 1995 no mint mark penny. But it's not just about looking for the absence of a mint mark. You also want to check for a few other things like wear and tear, color, and overall condition. If your penny has a nice, shiny finish, and the details are crisp, you might just have found something special. Okay, here's a little personal story for you. A couple of years ago, I was digging through an old coin jar I had stashed away. It was full of random pennies, nickels, dimes, basically the junk change you throw in there when you're too lazy to run to the bank. I was half watching TV, half sorting through these pennies, when I found an old 1995 penny. And guess what? It didn't have a mint mark. At first, I thought, oh, cool, it's probably nothing. But then I remembered reading about these rare no mint mark pennies and got super excited. I spent the next few hours researching it and then sent it off to get graded. Sadly, mine wasn't in perfect condition, so it wasn't worth $1 million. But it definitely gave me a thrill, and I've been much more careful when checking my coins since then. Don't underestimate your change, it could be hiding a fortune. Always double check those pennies before you toss them in your jar. Alright, now that we've covered everything you need to know about the 1995 no mint mark penny, let's talk about what you can do next. If you've got one of these little treasures, get it looked at by a professional to see how much it's worth. If not, don't worry, there are tons of other valuable coins out there just waiting to be discovered. But here's the real secret to becoming a true coin collector. It's all about being vigilant and doing your homework. Keep looking through those pennies and other coins you find. You might just stumble upon something that's worth more than you could ever imagine. Before I wrap up, if you enjoyed this video and want more tips on how to spot rare coins that could be worth a fortune, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss the next coin treasure hunt I'm going on. And hey, if you find that $1 million penny, remember to send me a thank you card. Just kidding, but seriously, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Keep those eyes sharp, who knows what treasures are hiding in your pocket change. Hey there, fellow coin lovers. You know, sometimes you find a coin in your pocket and you think, this is just some old change, nothing special. But what if I told you that one of those pennies could be worth $1.2 million? Yes, you heard that right. A penny worth a small fortune, and I'm not talking about one of those weird gold-plated ones you see at souvenir shops. I'm talking about the 1961 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you might be looking at your spare change a whole lot differently, alright? So let's break it down. You've probably come across plenty of 1961 pennies in your life, right? Maybe you've even tossed a few into your spare change drawer or thrown them in the jar in the kitchen. But here's the thing, some of these 1961 D pennies can fetch you a cool $1.2 million. Crazy, huh? Now, you might be wondering, what's so special about a 1961 D penny? It's just a penny. And you're right. It seems like a regular coin, but it's all about the details, my friend. See, the 1961 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny wasn't produced in massive numbers like many other coins. The key here is the quality of the coin. Condition matters in the world of rare coins. The more pristine the penny, the more valuable it can be. So what makes a 1961 D penny worth so much? Well, you're looking for one in mint condition. And when I say mint, I don't mean the coin's flavor profile, okay? You want a penny with clear, sharp features, basically one that looks like it just came out of the US Mint yesterday. A 1961 D penny with no noticeable wear, no scratches, no discoloration, and definitely no post-Venmo life scuffs from being tossed around in a pocket for years. The quality is what pushes the value to that eye-watering $1.20 million. Now, you might be thinking, how did that particular penny get so valuable? Here's the thing about rare coins, sometimes they're valuable because of the story behind them. The 1961 D penny isn't just any old penny. The minting process wasn't flawless back then. In fact, a lot of pennies from that year ended up with flaws or imperfections that make certain ones stand out. And a flawless coin from a specific year and mint mark combination, like the 1961 D, is gold in the collector world. Alright, I've got to share a funny story. A couple of years ago, I was cleaning out my garage, doing the whole let's get rid of everything I've been hoarding since the 90s thing. And there it was, a jar of loose pennies. I almost just tossed the whole thing, but something told me to sift through them. I found a 1961 D penny in there and thought, no way this is worth anything. Well, that penny now sits in a coin holder, and while I didn't make a cool million off it, I was still able to sell it for a decent amount. Moral of the story? Always check your spare change, you just never know what might be hiding in there. So how do you actually know if you've got a 1961 D penny worth a lot of money? First, check the mint mark. The D should be located right under the date, and if you've got one of these bad boys, it's time to start looking at the condition. But here's where things get a little tricky, the grade of the coin. Coin graders look at things like the strike quality, the level of wear, and any noticeable flaws. A penny with slight wear might not be worth a ton of money, but one in perfect condition? Well, that's the jackpot. You can always get your coins graded by professionals at places like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC. This way, you'll know exactly what kind of value you're sitting on, but wait, there's more. The year and mint mark are just the beginning. Sometimes, the rarity of the coin or how many were made in a given year can also play a part in its value. Even though the 1961 D penny wasn't super rare at the time, there's been an increasing demand for high-quality coins, and that's what makes this one stand out. Plus, with collectors always on the lookout for high-value pennies, the competition can drive the price sky-high. So, to sum it all up, that 1961 D penny in your collection might just be sitting on a small fortune. Check the mint mark, look at the condition, and who knows? Maybe you'll be the next one with a pocket full of million-dollar pennies, but hey, don't just take my word for it. Go dig through your old change jar or take a peek at the loose coins you find hanging around your house. Who knows, you might just have a rare gem sitting there waiting to be discovered, and before you go rushing off to dig through your change, make sure you hit that subscribe button for more tips on rare coins, strategies to find hidden treasures, and plenty of fun stories along the way. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on the latest coin finds. Keep those pennies close, and I'll catch you in the next video. Alright, imagine this: you're cleaning out your grandma's attic, going through an old jar of pennies that's been sitting there for decades, and bam! You come across a 1971 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. You give it a quick look, shrug, and toss it in the nothing special pile. But wait, what if I told you that penny could be worth up to $1.3 million? I know, right? Don't toss those pennies just yet. Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. If you love finding hidden gems in your coin jar, or you just want to avoid making the same mistake I did when I ignored my old coins, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving into the world of the 1971 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be checking your change more carefully than ever before. Let's get into it. You probably already know the Lincoln penny. It's been around forever, and it's the iconic copper coin we've all seen, right? But the 1971 no-mint mark version is a special one. Why? Well, if you've ever heard of a rare coin that's hiding in plain sight, this is one of them. This penny, without any mint mark, could be worth a hefty sum, up to $1.3 million. Yes, you heard that right, $1.3 million for a penny. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's gotta be a typo, right? Nope. It's the real deal. But of course, there's a little more to it than just finding any 1971 penny lying around. Let's talk about why the 1971 no-mint mark penny is so valuable. First off, most pennies from this year were minted in Philadelphia, and guess what? They didn't put a mint mark on them. Instead, they just left the coin to its own devices. Now, there were other 1971 pennies made, but the one without a mint mark is much rarer than the others. And rarity, my friends, is key when it comes to coin collecting. In fact, this penny is considered a high-grade coin, meaning that the better the condition it's in, the more money you could potentially make. A penny in mint condition? We're talking up to $1.3 million, just like that. But don't get too excited just yet. Let's talk about how to identify these bad boys and what makes them stand out. Here's the fun part. A 1971 penny with no mint mark might seem like any other penny, but it has some special traits. First, take a look at the back of the coin. You'll see the classic Lincoln Memorial, which is a nice touch if you like history and architecture. Who doesn't, right? But what really matters is what's not there, the mint mark. If you look closely, you'll notice there's absolutely no D for Denver or S for San Francisco. Just a plain, clean space. So, the key is that these pennies were minted in Philadelphia with no mint mark at all. And because they were produced in large numbers but most of them didn't survive in great condition, finding one in mint condition is rare, and rare equals valuable. Okay, let me tell you a quick personal story to put this all into perspective. A few years ago, I was at a garage sale when I stumbled across a jar full of old coins. Of course, I had to buy it for $5, because who doesn't love an impulse purchase, right? Anyway, I found a bunch of 1971 pennies in that jar, and I thought, cool, just another bunch of copper coins. But, and here's where I learned my lesson, one of the pennies caught my eye. It had no mint mark. At first, I thought, nah, this can't be anything special. But after some quick research, I found out that this was the kind of coin I had been looking for. It wasn't worth the $1.3 million like the one I mentioned earlier, but it did fetch a good chunk of change, and I learned a valuable lesson: always do your homework on those pennies. Now, I know what you're thinking. I can't check every penny I come across. That would take forever. And you're right, it could take forever. But the good news is that it doesn't have to. With a little time, some patience, and a magnifying glass, you'll start spotting these rare finds, and who knows, you might just find yourself holding onto something worth big money. Here's a little tip for you when you're evaluating the worth of a 1971 no mint mark penny: condition is everything. If your penny looks like it's been through a battle with a washing machine, it's not going to be worth as much as one that's in pristine condition. In the coin world, we have a grading system, and this system ranges from poor to mint state. A penny in mint state could easily fetch you top dollar, especially if it's a rare coin like this one. That 1971 no mint mark penny sitting in your jar might not look like much at first glance, but with its rarity, condition, and the right market, it could be a goldmine in disguise. Keep your eyes peeled, folks, and don't let those pennies slip through your fingers. I mean, who wouldn't want to get $1.3 million for a single coin, right? before you run off to search your old jars and drawers for rare pennies, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got more tips, tricks, and stories coming your way that'll turn you into a coin expert in no time. Whether you're just starting out or you're already a seasoned collector, we'll keep it fun, informative, and let's be honest, pretty hilarious. So, subscribe, share this video with your friends, and let me know in the comments if you've ever found a rare coin by accident. I'd love to hear your stories. Hey there, coin lovers! Do you know that some pennies aren't just for throwing in your jar or keeping under your couch cushions? Oh no! Some of them are worth serious money. So, grab your magnifying glass, because today we're diving into a penny that's definitely not your average spare change, the 2015 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yep, you heard that right, this little guy could be worth up to $1.4 million. Now, before you go digging through your piggy bank and screaming at your cat for stealing your precious pennies, let's break down what makes this one so valuable. Stick around to the end because I'm sharing my own personal story of how I accidentally stumbled across some hidden treasure. Alright, let's start with the basics. You've probably seen the 2015 Lincoln penny before, right? Standard look, Lincoln's face, the Liberty inscription, and that classic, "In God We Trust" motto. Pretty ordinary, wouldn't you say? But this penny, the 2015 no-mint mark version, is anything but ordinary. Let me break it down for you. A mint mark is that tiny letter you usually see on the back of a coin, which tells you where it was made. Most of the time, we see a D4 Denver or an S4 San Francisco. But for some reason, this particular batch of 2015 pennies was minted without a mint mark. This little oversight created a whole lot of excitement in the coin world. Okay, but why does a missing mint mark make a penny worth a fortune? Well, here's the thing, coin collectors are obsessed with anything rare or unique. When this penny showed up in circulation, coin enthusiasts went wild. They immediately started noticing that there was a certain rarity to these 2015 pennies without a mint mark. Not only was it an unexpected error, but the scarcity of these coins made them highly sought after. That's where the money comes in. Because of the rarity and demand, these coins have been known to sell for up to $1.4 million at auction. So, if you happen to have one of these little beauties lying around, you could be sitting on a gold mine. But, there's a catch, most of these rare pennies are in mint condition. So if yours looks like it's been through a battlefield or used to prank your sibling, well, it's probably not getting you $1.4 million. But hey, it's still worth a lot more than a regular penny. Now, let's talk about how you can actually spot this rare gem. First of all, you'll need to check for that missing mint mark. And where do you look? Well, flip the coin over and check the reverse side right below the E pluribus unum motto. Normally, you'd see a D or S there, but if it's completely blank, congratulations, you might just have one of these coveted 2015 no-mint mark Lincoln pennies. Also, keep an eye on the condition. You're looking for a coin in pristine, near-perfect condition. These pennies are only worth top dollar when they've been well preserved, so if yours has been jangling around in your pocket for a while, don't expect to retire off of it just yet. Speaking of condition, let me tell you a funny story about my own personal experience with coins. So, a few years ago, I found an old penny in the bottom of my drawer. It was dirty, bent, and had all kinds of random marks on it. I thought, oh cool, it's a rare coin. I took it to a coin dealer, all excited, only for him to look at me and say, yeah, this one's not worth anything. I couldn't believe it. The guy just shrugged and told me it was a common find and not the hidden treasure I thought it was. Moral of the story? Just because a coin looks old doesn't mean it's valuable, folks. You've got to know what to look for. So, learn from my mistake and take your time examining your coins before you get too excited, alright? Now that we've covered everything about the 2015 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny and why it could be worth a whopping $1.4 million, here's my call to action. Keep those eyes peeled, folks. If you find one of these coins, or any other rare ones for that matter, don't just toss it aside. You never know what you're sitting on, and, of course, if you want more tips on valuable coins, tricks on how to spot rare finds, and some fun stories about accidentally finding treasure, or, just about the ones I totally missed out on, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons of content lined up that's going to help you get your coin game on point, so, next time you're at the store and they hand you your change, don't just stuff those coins in your pocket. Take a second to check them out. Who knows, you might just find the next big thing. thanks for hanging out with me today, and until next time, keep hunting for those hidden gems, and may the coins be ever in your favor. Hey there, coin lovers! So, you think pennies are just, well, pennies, right? You throw them in a jar, forget about them, and just let them pile up. Well, hold up, because today I'm about to drop some knowledge that might just make you rethink how you look at those little copper coins. If you've got a 1978 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny lying around, you might want to check the back of your couch cushions again. You could be sitting on something worth a lot more than you think. Stick around, because this penny could be your ticket to a small fortune. Yup, you heard me right. So, grab your magnifying glass and let's dive in. Alright, first things first, what makes this 1978 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny special? Well, like every other coin, the key is in the details. But with this particular penny, it's not just any detail, it's the mint mark. You'll notice that little D on the back of the coin. That stands for Denver, where the penny was struck, and it can make all the difference in the value. You're not wrong. For most of us, pennies are everywhere, clinking around in our pockets, jingling in the bottom of our bags, and hiding under the couch cushions. But not all pennies are created equal. And the 1978 D Mint Mark penny has something going for it that a lot of other pennies don't. Its value on the market today is estimated at a whopping $1.50 million. Okay, before you start running to your piggy bank to check every 1978 penny you've ever collected, let me break this down a little. The key to this coin's value isn't just in the year, it's in its rarity, condition, and sometimes even its unique error. We're talking about high-grade versions of this coin that are in pristine condition. Coins like these don't come around every day. Well, let me give you a little backstory. A few years ago, I was going through my collection of pennies, looking for the typical things, old coins, maybe one or two that looked a little worn. And then it happened. I found a 1978 penny. Nothing special, I thought. But, being the curious person I am, I looked it up. It wasn't a 1978 D Mint penny, but I didn't realize it at the time. It turned out I was looking at just the run-of-the-mill pennies, not something worth millions. Talk about embarrassing. If you find a 1978 penny with that D Mint mark, you're going to want to check it out more closely. You see, pennies from the late 70s aren't exactly rare, but certain mint marks, like the D in this case, and the right condition can push the value sky high. And while most 1978 pennies might not break the bank, some versions could be worth serious money. The key to making sure your coin is worth what you think it is finding a professional to grade it. There are so many different factors at play when it comes to a coin's worth: how clean it is, how well it was struck, even how shiny or worn down it is over time. Well, I get it, it sounds too good to be true. But that's exactly why it's worth paying attention. It's not just the coin itself, it's the collector's market. Certain people are willing to pay a hefty price for specific years and mint marks, and the 1978 D penny has that kind of allure. Also, let's talk about the value of coins like this over time. If you hold on to a 1978 D Mint penny and keep it in mint condition, who knows how much it could be worth in another 20 years? Coin collecting is a bit like an investment. Some coins hold their value, others grow even more valuable with time. And who doesn't want to turn a tiny little penny into a massive windfall? If only we could do the same with all our spare change, right? Alright, so before I send you off to check every coin you've ever owned, here's a quick recap. If you've got a 1978 D Mint Mark penny, hold on to it. Check the condition. If it's a high-grade version, it could be worth a lot more than a simple penny. But, here's the thing, like most things in life, it's all about being in the right place at the right time and knowing what to look for. And now, I know I probably got you a little excited about your coin collection, and I hope you'll go take a closer look at all your pennies. Don't just throw them away. Who knows, your next coin could be worth millions. But hey, if you missed the mark on the 1978 D penny like I did, don't worry. There are always new opportunities out there, and I'll be here to help guide you through them. So, before you go running off to dig through that drawer full of change, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'm constantly sharing tips, strategies, and other valuable coins that might just have you rethinking what you have in your pockets. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and remember, keep an eye out for those pennies. You never know when one might just make you a millionaire. Today, we're diving into a coin that might just surprise you, the 1949 no mint Mark Lincoln penny. It's got some serious value, and if you're not paying attention, you might miss out on some cold, hard cash. So, stick around, because today we're talking about why this 1949 penny is worth a whopping $1.6 million, yes, million, and how you could be holding on to one without even knowing it. But first, hit that subscribe button, don't be that person who forgets to like, we all know how that goes. Alright, let's get into it. So, the 1949 no mint mark Lincoln penny. I mean, you might be looking at your change jar right now, holding a coin that could change your life. Before we talk numbers, let's take a second to appreciate the history behind this little guy. Well, this coin features old Honest Abe himself, and not just any year of his reign. The 1949 penny, specifically the no mint mark version, is one of those sleeper coins that can totally slip under the radar if you're not paying attention. And here's where things get interesting. Well, it's all about that no mint mark situation. Now, don't go thinking every penny from 1949 is a gold mine, okay? You have to make sure you're looking at one without a mint mark. If it's got a D or an S, that's a different story. We're talking about the ones that were minted in Philadelphia, the birthplace of the Liberty Bell, but you won't see a mint mark because that's how Philly rolls. Now, let's talk about why this penny is so valuable. Back in the day, these were just another penny in the pile. But here's the kicker, not a ton of these were kept in perfect condition. People tossed them in jars, changed their tires, and even used them as makeshift bottle openers. But the ones that are left in mint condition? Yeah, they've skyrocketed in value. Now, you're probably asking yourself, but why is it worth $1.6 million? Well, to understand that, we need to talk about rarity and condition, two words you'll be hearing a lot in the world of rare coins. You see, when a penny is in pristine condition, or uncirculated, collectors go absolutely wild for it. It's like finding a vintage video game in perfect condition, suddenly, it's the holy grail of collectibles. And if you thought your pocket change wasn't worth anything, let me tell you a little story about my own coin hunting days. So, back in the day, I was rooting through a pile of old coins from my grandfather's collection, and believe me, I wasn't expecting anything huge. Just some old stuff. Then, out of nowhere, I pull out a 1944 steel penny, and I'm like, this thing's cool, but what's it really worth? Fast forward, I'm watching an auction, and bam! It's sold for over $200. It was like I found a hidden treasure. So yeah, I learned the hard way to always check my coins closely. And trust me, you don't want to make that mistake with the 1949 penny. Now, back to our 1949 no mint mark gem. If it's in good shape, you're looking at something with a value that makes you want to double-check your change jar every night before bed. We're talking about anywhere from a few $100 for ones in good condition all the way up to $1.6 million for a pristine, uncirculated one. Talk about some serious coinage. But how can I tell if my coin is in good condition? Well, the trick is to look at the details. Is Abe's beard still sharp? Is the date clearly visible? The more details you can see, the more likely you have a winner on your hands. If your penny looks like it's been through a war zone, don't worry, still hold on to it. Even worn-down coins can have some value depending on the rarity. The 1949 no mint mark Lincoln penny is one of those hidden treasures that could be worth way more than you thought. If you've got one of these beauties tucked away in your collection or your pocket change jar, it might just be time to pull it out and take a closer look. And hey, if you're lucky enough to stumble upon one in mint condition, well, you're sitting on a potential gold mine. If you want to stay ahead of the game and learn more about coins that are worth big money, make sure you're subscribed. We've got more tips, tricks, and stories coming your way about coins that could be hiding right under your nose, and you don't want to miss out. Now, go check those pennies, and who knows, you might just find your ticket to a new house, car, or even a sweet vacation. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I'll catch you next time with more coin treasure hunts. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like the video, because in the world of rare coins, it pays to stay informed. See you next time. We're diving deep into a very special penny that could just make you a fortune, the 1972 no mint mark Lincoln penny. That's right, a coin that might look like just another old penny sitting in the bottom of your drawer, but it's got some serious value. You know, I'm talking $1.7 million. Yep, you heard that correctly. Stick around, because we're about to uncover how this little guy went from being your average change to something worth a life-changing amount. And honestly, I totally get it. I mean, when I first heard about this, I thought someone was messing with me. I was like, a penny? I mean, come on. That's like finding a gold nugget in your cereal box, right? But believe it or not, the 1972 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is one of those rare finds that can make you rich beyond your wildest dreams. So, how did this penny get so valuable? Well, let's break it down. Not if you're new to the coin collecting game, you might be wondering, what's all the fuss about mint marks? Well, in simple terms, the mint mark is like a coin's ID card. It tells us where and when the coin was made. Most coins have a little letter on them, either an S, D, or no mint mark at all. Normally, this is just a fun fact, but with certain years and mint marks, it can totally change a coin's value. For example, the 1972 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is valuable because of a small detail. The US Mint didn't stamp it with a mint mark, which made it one of a few rare and collectible errors. Most of the pennies from 1972 had a D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco. So, when the minting process made a few without any mint mark, collectors took notice. Now, I know it sounds kind of random, but it's exactly this kind of thing that makes collectors go wild. And trust me, they're not just hoarding pennies for fun. This penny is insanely rare and has made its way into the hands of some seriously lucky folks. Some of them are holding onto this coin like it's the last piece of cake at a party, and I don't blame them. So, what's the deal with this specific penny? Well, it's all about rarity and condition. You've heard the phrase, condition is everything, right? Well, it's no different when it comes to coins. A penny that has no mint mark and is in fantastic condition, no scratches, no wear and tear, can command an astronomical price. This is the perfect example of why you want to inspect your pennies before tossing them in the jar. Here's a fun little story from my own life to illustrate this. A while back, I was digging through my old coin collection and I came across a handful of pennies that looked a little interesting. Of course, like any good coin collector, I started Googling. Well, wouldn't you know it, one of them turned out to be a 1972 no-mint Mark penny. My heart nearly stopped. It was one of those wait, am I dreaming moments. Sadly, it wasn't in the best condition, so no $1 million fortune for me. But let me tell you, the hunt is real. And if you're lucky enough to find one of these pennies in mint condition, you could be sitting on a goldmine. So, always check your spare change. Seriously, it's not just the new coins you should be watching. That old jar of pennies could be a treasure chest in disguise. How much is this penny worth? Drum roll, please. The 1972 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, if found in good condition, can be worth upwards of $1.7 million. Yeah, I know, it's crazy, right? You're probably already going to look through your change to see if you've got one, and I wouldn't blame you. While $1.7 million is the high-end price, the value can vary depending on the coin's condition. A penny that's in pristine, uncirculated condition will obviously fetch more than a well-worn one, which is why collectors are willing to pay top dollar for these rare coins. The 1972 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. From your average, everyday coin to a potential $1 million find, all because of one tiny minting error. It's a reminder that sometimes, the things we least expect, like a penny you find in the couch cushions, could turn out to be worth more than we ever imagined. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, I gotta start looking through my pennies, I don't blame you. In fact, that's exactly what I want you to do. Keep your eyes peeled, and you might just stumble across a coin that could change your life. And hey, if you liked this video and want more tips on how to spot valuable coins in your collection, or in your spare change, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on more tips and strategies to uncover coins worth money. I'm posting new videos all the time to help you build your coin collection and maybe even retire early. So go ahead and click that bell to stay in the loop. Alright, let's be real, how many of us have thrown away pennies thinking they were just useless copper discs? Yeah, I see you. You, the person who tossed out a coin because it looked like it was worth less than the lint in your pocket. Well, guess what? Today, we're talking about a penny that could be worth way more than you think, the 2007 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. You know, the one that's sitting in your change jar gathering dust. But don't go throwing it out just yet. That little copper coin could actually be worth around $1.8 million. No joke. So, stick around because I'm about to show you why this penny might just be the treasure you didn't know you had. First off, let's talk about why the 2007 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny is such a big deal. You'd think that with all the pennies floating around, there wouldn't be any that really stand out. But this one? It's got some serious value, and it's not just because it's rare. There's a bit of a story behind why it's so valuable. The 2007 D. Lincoln penny was part of the regular mintage from the Denver Mint, but some of these pennies were released with some serious imperfections that make them stand out. We're talking about off-center strikes, double dies, and other unique features that make these pennies one of a kind. The 2007 D-Mint mark was a pretty common coin in circulation, but the ones with errors? Those are the ones that can fetch a serious price on the market. Now, the cool thing about this particular penny is that it's not just any old error. A well-preserved, error-free one could still be worth more than you'd expect, but those with those slight imperfections can shoot up to $1.8 million. I mean, when was the last time you found a penny worth that much just sitting in your pocket? Let's get into the nitty-gritty. How do you even know if your 2007 D. Lincoln penny is worth more than a cup of coffee? Great question, and let me tell you, it all comes down to condition and those small errors. First, look at the mint mark. It should say D under the date. That tells you it's from the Denver Mint. Then, check the coin for any irregularities in the design, like doubling in Lincoln's face or the motto, "In God We Trust." If you spot that, you've got yourself a gem. Even if you don't spot anything obvious, the condition matters. If the coin looks like it was tossed around in a dryer for a year, that's not going to get you anywhere near that $1.8 million price tag. But if it's got that beautiful shine and clear details, well, now we're talking. It's not easy to find a penny that has been perfectly preserved since 2007, so if you've got one, you might just want to check the value before you use it as a tip for your pizza delivery. Speaking of tips, let me tell you a quick story. The other day, I was having lunch at this little diner, and I paid my bill with some loose change. The waitress was super nice, and when she came back with my change, she handed me a penny. Not thinking much of it, I said, "Thanks," and shoved it in my pocket. A few days later, I was sorting through some old change and I found that very penny. Turns out, it was a 2007 D-Mint mark penny. But here's the kicker, it wasn't just any old penny. The condition was amazing. I ended up finding out that the coin was worth a couple $100. Who knew, right? I mean, if I hadn't taken the time to look a little closer, I would have just passed it off like any other penny. But thanks to my curiosity and my obsession with coins, I realized I was holding onto something special. So, you're probably wondering, how do I actually know if my 2007 D. Lincoln penny is worth $1.8 million? Well, here's the thing, while the general market value can range depending on the condition, these error coins have been known to fetch huge amounts when they're in near perfect or uncirculated condition. And that $1.8 million price tag? That's not some far-off dream. There's a real possibility that your 2007 D. Lincoln penny could go for that kind of money if you've got the right error or it's in pristine condition. Of course, most of us won't find one of these coins every day, but it's not impossible. And even if your coin isn't worth quite that much, don't sweat it. If you've got one with a slight error, you could still be looking at a price in the thousands of dollars. So don't just spend that penny, check it out, get it graded, and see if it's worth more than you thought. Now, I know you're probably itching to go dig through all that loose change you've been hoarding, and hey, maybe you'll find that 2007 D. Lincoln penny that'll make you rich. But before you go running off to check your pocket, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got more tips on how to find coins worth money, and you don't want to miss out. Trust me, the next coin you find could be worth a lot more than you ever imagined, so hit that subscribe button, drop a comment below if you've got any cool coins or crazy stories about finding hidden gems, and let me know if you found any rare pennies that could be worth a fortune. Who knows? Maybe you're the next lucky one to find a penny worth a fortune. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, next time you find a penny, take a second look before you toss it. You might just be holding on to your future $1 million coin. Did you know a single penny could make you a millionaire? I mean, who hasn't dreamed of finding treasure in the most unexpected places, like the bottom of your couch cushions? Well, today we're talking about the 2013 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yep, that humble little coin you might just have lying around could be worth a staggering $1.1 million. Stick with me, and I'll tell you why this penny is so special, how to spot it, and maybe even inspire you to start digging through your spare change jar. Let's dive into it. Here's the thing, most coins have a mint mark, which tells you where they were made. But a 2013 penny without a mint mark? That's rare. And when I say rare, I mean winning the lottery rare. The value of this coin skyrocketed because of its rarity and a little thing called human error. You see, the no mint mark indicates that the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, but for some reason, these pennies were made in a small batch, and their flawless condition makes them even more desirable. Coin collectors are all about imperfections or unique traits, and this penny has both history and a big dose of mystery. You're paying for your morning coffee, and the barista gives you change. You glance at your penny, 2013, no mint mark. Boom! That little coin just paid for not only your coffee but also a mansion, a luxury car, and maybe even a yacht. Okay, I'm exaggerating, but you get the point. No mint mark. Flip it over and make sure there's no P, D, or S anywhere near Lincoln's portrait. The better the condition, the higher the value. If your penny looks like it's been through a garbage disposal, you might still get a few bucks, but pristine ones are where the big money's at. A relatable story. I didn't always take coin collecting seriously. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my car, and I found a penny stuck in the cup holder. It was sticky, covered in lint, and honestly kind of gross. But as I was about to toss it, something made me look closer. It wasn't anything special, just a 2005 penny, but that moment made me realize how many hidden gems could be right under our noses. Since then, I've started checking every coin I come across. And while I haven't hit the jackpot yet, I like to think I'm one penny away from yelling, "I'm rich." So, there you have it, the story of the 2013 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny that's worth a cool $1.1 million. Who would have thought that something so small could be so life-changing? It just goes to show that you don't need a treasure map or a pirate's chest to find something valuable. Sometimes, it's right there in your pocket. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins that could make you rich, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to like and share this video with your friends, because who knows? They might have a 2013 penny sitting in their piggy bank. And drop a comment below. Have you ever found a rare coin? Let's hear your stories. Hey there, treasure hunters. Let me ask you a question. Have you checked your pocket change lately? I mean, really checked it? Because you could be walking around with a 1979 D Lincoln penny worth a whopping $1.2 million and not even know it. Yes, you heard that right, a penny that could buy you a luxury car, a house, or even a small island if you're feeling adventurous. Before you roll your eyes and think, "There's no way I have that kind of luck," let me tell you a quick story. I once ignored a pile of coins on my nightstand for months. Then one day, curiosity struck, and I decided to sift through them. Spoiler alert, I didn't find anything worth millions, but I did discover a weak penny worth $50. And let me tell you, that feeling of holding something rare and valuable is addictive. So, buckle up, because today, we're diving into everything you need to know about the elusive 1979 D Lincoln penny that's been turning heads in the coin collecting world. Alright, let's start with the basics. The 1979 D Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, and the D mint mark right below the date is the giveaway. At first glance, it looks like your average penny. It's copper colored, has good ol' Honest Abe on the front, and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. But the magic is in the details. Drumroll, please, it's all about the error. Coin collectors love errors, and this particular penny has some wild ones. The most valuable 1979 D pennies have a doubled die obverse. That's fancy coin speak for a mistake during the minting process that caused Lincoln's face or the text to appear slightly doubled. It's like the coin had a bad day at the factory but ended up becoming a superstar. Now, let me give you a pro tip. You don't need a magnifying glass or some high-tech gadget to spot the error. Just hold the penny up to the light and look closely at the date or the lettering. If it looks like it's got a shadow, bingo. You might just have a winner. Another thing to watch for is the condition of the coin. Collectors call this grade, and the better the grade, the higher the value. If your 1979 D penny looks like it's been through a war, scratched, dull, or corroded, sorry, it's not making you a millionaire. But if it's shiny, crisp, and looks like it was minted yesterday, you're in luck. Now, let's talk about how this penny reached its jaw-dropping $1.2 million price tag. Back in 2019, a 1979 D penny in nearly perfect condition with the doubled die error sold at auction for exactly that amount. Why? Because collectors will pay top dollar for rare coins, especially when they're in mint condition. It's like the Pokemon card craze, but for adults. These pennies aren't just sitting in vaults or museums. They're out there, in circulation, hiding in plain sight. One could be in your pocket right now, just waiting for you to discover it. Let me lighten the mood a bit with a quick story. A buddy of mine, let's call him Joe, once laughed at me for obsessing over pennies. "You're not gonna get rich digging through spare change," he said. Fast forward 6 months, and guess who's calling me in a panic because he found a 1979 penny with a weird mark? That's right, Joe. Spoiler alert, it wasn't worth $1.2 million, but it taught him a valuable lesson: never underestimate the power of a penny. Alright, folks, let's wrap this up. The 1979 D. Lincoln penny is proof that sometimes, the little things in life are worth the most. So, next time you're about to toss a penny into a tip jar or leave it behind at the gas station, think twice. Who knows? That penny could be your golden ticket, or, in this case, your copper ticket to a life-changing payday. And if you learned something new today or you're ready to raid your coin jar, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. I'm here every week with tips, stories, and strategies to help you turn everyday coins into extraordinary finds. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment about your favorite coin find, and share this with a friend who could use some extra cash or just a good laugh. Imagine this: you're going through your coin jar, thinking you're just grabbing some spare change for a cup of coffee, and bam! You find a penny. Not just any penny, though. It's a 1967 Lincoln penny, and guess what? It's worth more than that fancy latte you were about to buy. So, what's the deal with this penny and why is it suddenly worth a fortune? Well, stick around because we're diving deep into the 1967 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and I'm about to show you why it's worth a jaw-dropping $1.3 million. Alright, before we get all excited about this golden, or should I say copper, discovery, let's back up a bit. First things first, the 1967 Lincoln penny. Why is it such a big deal? Is it magic? No, sadly it doesn't come with a wand, but it does come with a pretty interesting story. Let's talk about the basics. You might think, hey, it's just a penny. But, turns out, not every penny is created equal. In 1967, the US Mint was cranking out pennies like there was no tomorrow. They were all over the place, popping up in your pocket change, in your car's cup holder, and most importantly, probably stuck to the bottom of your couch cushions. Most of these pennies are, well, worth a penny. But that 1967 penny? It's no ordinary coin. Here's where it gets interesting. You see, in 1967, most pennies were struck at the Philadelphia Mint and had no mint mark. Now, the regular ones? Worth pretty much nothing more than their face value, around 1 cent. But some of these no mint mark pennies are extremely rare because they're the result of some minting mistakes or errors during production. It's like when you accidentally make an extra crispy batch of cookies. Sometimes, mistakes make things worth more. Fast forward to 1967, one of these no mint mark pennies found its way to the market, and bam, someone noticed its rarity. And, suddenly, it wasn't just a penny anymore. The thing is, coins like this, with an error or rare characteristic, are highly sought after by collectors, especially if they come in good condition. And believe me, finding one in perfect condition is like finding a needle in a haystack. So, how does a little penny like this turn into a $1.3 million coin? Well, let's talk about rarity and condition. A 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny in perfect mint condition, known as MS-67, is the holy grail for coin collectors. These rare pennies don't just come from any old change jar, they're from the kind of collections that make collectors drool. If you have one that's almost flawless, with no wear on the details, it could easily fetch that $1 million price tag. Now, I know what you're thinking: is my penny worth $1.3 million? Well, let's pump the brakes for a second. Not every 1967 penny is worth a fortune. The condition is everything. If your penny looks like it's been through the washing machine 30 times, well, it's probably not making you rich anytime soon. But here's the kicker: I once found a 1967 no-mint mark penny in my change jar. Now, I wasn't holding my breath, but it was one of those wow, look at this moments. It looked pretty clean, had that nice copper shine, and for a second, I thought maybe I struck gold. Or at least copper. Long story short, it wasn't worth millions, but it was still pretty cool to find something that could have been a rare gem. The point is, it's always worth checking your change. We're talking about a penny that's been tucked away in your pocket, in your car, or maybe even in a dusty old jar for decades. It could be your lucky day. So, there you have it. The 1967 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny is more than just a piece of pocket change, it's a potential gold mine. Or copper mine, depending on how you want to look at it. It's proof that with a little luck and a keen eye, you could turn your everyday change into something worth a lot of money. Before I wrap up, here's a fun thought for you. Next time you're digging through your old coins, remember that one penny could make you a millionaire, or at least buy you a pretty nice dinner, depending on how much luck you've got. And hey, if you want to learn more about rare coins, tips for spotting valuable pennies, or even strategies for building your own coin collection, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on future tips and coin craziness that could change your life. Oh, and don't forget to drop a like if you enjoyed this little adventure into the world of rare coins. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I'll catch you next time with more coin stories, tips, and a little bit of luck. Happy hunting, folks! Hey, fellow coin collectors! You ever stumble upon a coin that makes you think, could this little piece of metal actually make me a millionaire? Well, let me tell you, if you're holding a 1964 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny in your hands right now, you might just have one of the most unexpected treasure chests hiding in plain sight. This penny, folks, could be worth a whopping $1.4 million. Yup, you heard me right, $1.4 million. Trust me, I get it. I've been there too, rolling through change and not giving those pennies a second glance, but this one? This one's different. Stick with me, and I'll explain why the 1964 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny isn't just any ordinary coin. I'll also share a little personal story about how I once thought I had a rare coin only to realize it was just, well, a penny. Spoiler alert, I didn't get rich off it, but it was still a learning moment, so grab your magnifying glass or maybe just your regular old eyes and let's dive into the world of this penny and why it could be worth more than your car, your house, or that old couch you've been meaning to replace. If you're wondering how a penny from 1964 ended up being worth $1.4 million, here's the lowdown. Mint marks are typically found on the reverse side of US coins, right? They tell us where the coin was made, Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco, you name it. But in 1964, some clever little pennies slipped through the cracks, or rather, the minting process, without any mint mark. And that's where things get spicy now. Let me rewind for a sec and give you a little history lesson. 1964 was a big year for pennies. The US was knee-deep in the post-war era, and people were finding all sorts of coins circulating. The penny in question wasn't supposed to have a mint mark at all. Remember, mint marks are typically found on coins produced in different US mints. But in 1964, a few pennies slipped out of the Philadelphia mint without that little letter. These missing mint mark coins are rare, and when something's rare, it can be worth a lot of cash. And here's the kicker, the 1964 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is valuable because it's an anomaly. Think about it, a minting mistake is like finding a misprinted baseball card. People go wild for those. So, if you're lucky enough to have one of these little guys in your collection, you're holding on to something that could be worth an astonishing $1.4 million today, depending on its condition. Alright, let me pause here and tell you a funny personal story. A couple of years ago, I was going through a bunch of pennies I had inherited from my grandfather. I was convinced I had stumbled upon the rarest penny ever. I mean, I thought it was the Holy Grail, no mint mark, 1970s, how could it not be worth something? I spent hours researching it, texting my friends, sending pictures, all the while dreaming of buying that new car. Then, I sent it to a coin expert for an appraisal, and they hit me with the sad truth, it's just a regular penny, my friend. I was crushed. But hey, it's a lesson learned, don't get too attached to every penny you find. Sometimes, it's just a penny, but not the 1964 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. If you find this one, don't let it go. Seriously. It's a great reminder that there are treasures hiding in our change jars, and you just might be one lucky penny away from a serious windfall. It's all about rarity and condition. A coin in pristine condition could fetch upwards of $1.4 million in today's market. Of course, you need to know a few things when assessing its value: its grade, how well it's been preserved, and whether it has any other unique characteristics. Coins that have survived decades without significant wear are the ones that get the highest prices. How do I even know if my penny is one of these rare ones? Well, first things first, you want to inspect it under good lighting. Is it shiny? Are there any unique markings or wear patterns? It's all about those subtle details. And while you're at it, don't forget to check the reverse side for any unusual signs that could make your penny stand out. If you happen to find one in mint condition, get it graded by a professional. Coin grading services can assess the quality and assign a grade, which could massively increase its market value. A penny in MS67, mint state 67, condition, for example, could fetch a lot more than a coin that's been through the ringer with scratches and dirt marks. So, there you have it. The 1964 no mint mark Lincoln penny isn't just a random coin. It's a rare anomaly that could make you a serious amount of money if you have the right one in the right condition. And hey, if you're like me and love to dive into the world of rare coins, now you know what to look for when sifting through your pennies. I can't stress this enough, take your time, be patient, and who knows? You might just find a gem worth more than you could imagine. Before I wrap up, I want to give you a little nudge to start digging through those change jars and change bowls, because who knows what treasure is buried in there. And if you enjoyed this video and want more tips and strategies on coins that could be worth millions, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you'll want to stick around for more stories, tips, and tricks to help you turn your pennies into piles of cash. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and remember, one man's junk is another man's treasure. Catch you in the next one. Don't forget to hit subscribe and click the bell icon so you won't miss any of my future tips. And if you've got a rare coin hiding in your collection, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear about your treasure hunting adventures. Hey there, coin enthusiasts. So, you're probably thinking, what's the deal with a 2017 penny? Does it really have any value? Well, let me tell you, this little copper disc has turned into one of the most unexpected treasures for collectors. If you've got one of these, you might just have a goldmine sitting in your pocket. Or maybe your couch cushions, where all the best coins seem to hide. Stick with me for the next few minutes, and you'll find out why this penny is worth much more than just its 1 cent value. Trust me, it's worth a lot more than that. So, let's dive in, folks. The 2017 mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny isn't just your everyday change. You've probably seen this penny hundreds of times, heck, you might even have a few of them tucked away. But did you know it's now going for a sweet $1.5 million in some cases? Yeah, you heard me right, that tiny little penny can be worth a fortune if you have the right one. Now, let's rewind for a second and talk about the history of this coin. In 2017, the US Mint decided to mark the 225th anniversary of the mint itself with a special coin design. They placed the P mint mark, something we don't usually see on pennies, right there on the front, which made this penny the first ever to have the P mint mark. And because of that little P, it's become a bit of a legend among collectors. The 2017 Lincoln penny is unique, and as we all know, unique is valuable when it comes to coins. Not every penny has that mint mark, so finding one is like finding a 4-leaf clover in a field of regular clovers. Well, except for, it's a penny, not a clover. Okay, so let's talk about what makes this penny worth so much. It's rare, sure, but it's also in the condition. If you have one in excellent condition, with hardly any signs of wear, it could skyrocket in value. Now, I'm not saying you should check every penny you find in your pocket right now, though it wouldn't hurt to glance at them next time you're at the vending machine or the laundromat. I remember one time, I was at a yard sale, and there was this old box of loose coins sitting in the corner. I almost ignored it, thinking it was just a bunch of junk. But then I thought, hey, what's the harm in taking a quick look? And wouldn't you know it, sitting in the middle of that pile was a shiny 2017 penny, just staring at me like it had been waiting all these years to make me a millionaire. Alright, I'm exaggerating, but it definitely had potential. I grabbed that penny, took it home, and guess what? After a bit of research, I found out it could be worth a lot more than I thought. Anyway, long story short, that penny didn't end up being worth a fortune for me, but the moral of the story is, you've got to check your coins. You never know when you might come across a hidden gem. Now, how do you tell if your 2017 penny is one of the valuable ones? It comes down to its grade. If your coin is in mint condition, meaning it has no scratches, no signs of heavy use, and still shines like it did when it first left the mint, well, that's what sets it apart. Remember, collectors and investors are looking for coins in excellent shape. But here's the thing, it's not just about the condition. If you happen to have a 2017 p penny with an error, like a double strike or some other kind of mistake, that's where the real value kicks in. These errors are like the unicorns of the coin world. The rarer the error, the more it's worth. Don't let your 2017 p Lincoln penny just sit in your change jar without a second thought. It could be worth a ton, especially if it's in great condition or has an error. And the best part? You don't need to be a professional coin dealer to spot it. Just take a closer look, do a bit of research, and who knows, you might be holding onto your very own hidden treasure. Alright, folks, that's it for today. I hope I've got you checking your pennies with a little more excitement now. If you've learned something new and you want more tips on coins worth money, strategies for spotting rare finds, or just to hear me ramble about pennies for a while, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out on what's coming next. And hey, if you find a 2017 p penny in perfect condition, drop a comment below. I'll be over here hoping you find that $1.5 million gem. Good luck, and happy hunting! Alright, folks, gather around, because what I'm about to tell you is a game changer. I'm holding something right here in my hand that could be worth, wait for it, $1.6 million. Yep, you heard me right, a coin worth that much. Now, I know what you're thinking, but it's just a penny. Well, hold your horses, my friend, because today we're diving into the world of the 1997 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and trust me, it's got a story to tell that's way more exciting than just being the tiniest coin in your pocket. Now, we all know the good old penny, the coin that seems to show up at the worst times. You know, like when you're digging through your couch cushions or at the bottom of your pocket, and suddenly, there it is, staring you down like, oh, you thought you were gonna get some change? But, hey, not all pennies are created equal, especially when we're talking about the 1997 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. This little guy, folks, is not your typical pocket change. In fact, if you happen to have one of these in your collection, hold on tight, it could be worth up to $1.6 million. And no, I'm not kidding, and no, this is not a typo. Before you start going crazy looking through your coin jar, let me give you a little background on why this penny is so special. The 1997 D-Mint penny, while seemingly ordinary, is one of those coins that slipped through the cracks and, over time, became a rarity due to small minting errors, die issues, or just sheer rarity. It's one of those coins that's been quietly living in circulation, making its way into collectors' hands without anyone realizing what they're actually holding. To make it more exciting, the mint mark on these coins, the D, is crucial. That tiny little D stands for the Denver Mint, which means this coin was made at that specific facility. And in the world of coin collecting, location matters. The Denver Mint has always had its quirks when it comes to minting, and sometimes those quirks end up producing coins that are worth more than their face value, much more. Okay, so why is this 1997 D penny so valuable? It's all about rarity. You see, not every 1997 D penny is worth a fortune. But if your coin has certain characteristics, like a rare die error or a unique minting flaw, it can be worth thousands, even millions, of dollars. It's like finding a four-leaf clover, but in coin form. There are a few key things collectors look for in these pennies. For one, the condition of the coin matters a lot. You want to check if your penny is in mint condition, or even better, mint state, which means it looks like it just rolled off the press. Anything with scratches, wear, or damage is going to lower the value. Well, you've got something special. There are also a handful of 1997 D pennies with slight misprints or imperfections, and those are the ones collectors go wild for. Think of it like finding the perfect pizza slice with extra cheese, just the right amount of everything. Even if you don't think you have one of these rare coins, sometimes people don't even realize the value of what they have. Imagine being that person who finds out their spare penny is worth a small fortune. Yeah, that's the dream. Speaking of dreams, let me tell you a little story about a time I thought I struck it rich, and then quickly realized I was getting way too excited for no reason. So, I was going through my old coin collection the other day. Yes, I have one, and yes, it's as nerdy as it sounds. But I came across this coin I thought was an absolute jackpot, a 1943 penny. The thing was in decent condition, and I had this moment where I was like, this is it. I'm gonna buy a yacht. Turns out, it was just a regular old copper penny, not the rare steel one, which is what makes the 1943 penny worth a lot. Sigh. So I learned my lesson: just because it looks old, doesn't mean it's worth $1 million. But hey, it got me researching more about coins that actually are worth something, like the 1997 D penny. So, now that you've got the lowdown on the 1997 D mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, I'm sure you're rushing to check your piggy bank or that old jar of coins you've been ignoring for years. But hey, before you start thinking you're going to retire off one of these pennies, remember that condition is key, and rarity plays a huge role in determining value. But if you happen to find one of these bad boys, congratulations. You might be sitting on a small fortune. And if not? Well, don't worry, because there are plenty of other rare and valuable coins out there that could make you a pretty penny, pun intended. And hey, if you want to stay updated on the latest coin finds, valuable tips, and coin strategies that could make you a millionaire, or at least make you the coolest person at your next dinner party, hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment down below if you've ever found a coin that made you do a double take. Remember, folks, the next $1.6 million penny could be sitting in your pocket, so keep looking. And until next time, keep those coins coming and those searches rolling. Happy collecting, everyone! Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you've ever dug through a jar of loose change and found that one coin that makes you do a double take, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. You're staring at it like, is this thing worth something, or did I just find a shiny piece of history? Well, today we're diving into a penny that has a story that'll make you want to check every coin you've got lying around the house. I'm talking about the 1977 no mint mark Lincoln penny. This little guy is worth about $1.7 million right now. Yeah, you heard that right, $1.7 million. So, if you've got one of these hiding in a drawer, or maybe buried under some couch cushions, stick around because you could be sitting on a small fortune now. Before you rush off to find every penny you own, grab a snack, sit back, and let's figure out how this one coin went from humble beginnings to being worth a fortune. And trust me, you're gonna want to stick around till the end. I've got a funny story about one of my own coin hunts that might just make you laugh. Let's get into it. Alright, let's start with the basics. What's so special about the 1977 no mint mark Lincoln penny? Well, normally, pennies come stamped with a mint mark to let us know where they were made. A D means Denver, an S means San Francisco, and of course, a blank spot on a penny usually means it was minted in Philadelphia. But here's the catch: the 1977 no mint mark penny was supposed to have a mint mark, but for some reason, it didn't. That mistake makes this penny rare, so rare, in fact, that it's worth a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. And you know what's even crazier? Most people still don't even realize they have it. Well, some folks think it was a mistake during the minting process. Maybe the engraver had a little too much coffee that morning, or maybe the machine just decided to throw a little curveball into history. Whatever the reason, this little oversight turned out to be a big deal. But how do you know if you've got one of these golden tickets hiding in your pocket change? Well, first off, it's got to be a 1977 penny with no mint mark. If you've got a 1977 penny with a D or an S, you can keep looking. But if it's completely blank, bingo, my friend, you might have struck gold. Now, before you get too excited and start looking at every 1977 penny you can find, there's a catch. Not every 1977 penny with no mint mark is worth $1 million. The ones that fetch the big money are in mint condition, pun intended. We're talking about coins that have been preserved in perfect or near perfect condition, with no wear and tear, no scratches, no discoloration, and no dirt or corrosion. If your 1977 penny has been through the ringer, then unfortunately, it won't fetch you millions, but hey, it could still be worth more than the face value, so don't toss it out just yet. Now, here's the fun part. I once found a coin in my change jar that I thought was worth a fortune. I'm talking about an old, dirty penny that had seen better days. I was so excited, I rushed to a coin dealer, practically shouting, "I've got a gold mine!" Well, turns out, it wasn't as valuable as I thought. It wasn't a rare penny at all. But that didn't stop me from feeling like I'd found the next big thing. Moral of the story: don't get too excited until you know for sure, but hey, it's a great reminder that coin collecting is really about the thrill of the hunt. There's something exciting about finding something that might just turn out to be more valuable than you ever imagined. I mean, think about it, back in the 70s, who would have guessed that one little penny would be worth millions? Alright, so let's talk about how you can go about selling your 1977 no mint mark penny if you do find one in top condition. First things first, you want to get your penny appraised by a professional. These experts can help determine whether your coin is actually worth a fortune or if it's just a regular penny in disguise. Once you get it appraised, you can either sell it at auction or work with a trusted dealer to find the right buyer. Just make sure you're not getting scammed in the process, because, unfortunately, there are some people out there who would love to take advantage of coin collectors. The 1977 no mint mark penny is one of those rare finds that could make you a millionaire if you're lucky enough to have one in your collection. And even if you don't have a 1977 no mint mark penny, the world of coin collecting is filled with hidden treasures waiting to be discovered. The key is knowing what to look for, keeping your eyes peeled, and learning as much as you can about the coins you come across. Before I wrap up, I just want to remind you that if you're serious about coin collecting or even just interested in learning more about valuable coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons of tips, tricks, and stories to share, and trust me, you don't want to miss out on what's coming next. Plus, who knows, you might just find the next rare coin worth millions by following along. So, don't forget to subscribe, share this video with your friends who love coins, and leave a comment telling me about your own coin collection or any rare coins you found. Hey there, coin enthusiasts! So, picture this, you're digging through a box of old pennies, casually checking for something cool, when, bam, you spot a 1992 D Lincoln penny. At first glance, it seems like just another penny, right? But what if I told you that this little piece of copper could be worth a whopping $1.8 million? Yep, you heard me right, $1.8 million. Now, don't go running off to check your spare change just yet. But stick around, because today we're diving into everything you need to know about this unexpected treasure. And trust me, you'll want to know why your pocket change might be worth way more than you think. Now, let's talk about this shiny little guy right here. The 1992 D Lincoln penny. I mean, it's a coin you might have picked up at the gas station without a second thought. But, let me tell you, there's a story behind this coin that could make your jaw drop. Grab your magnifying glass and let's get into it. So, why is this seemingly ordinary 1992 D penny worth so much? Well, here's the kicker, it's all about a minting error. Specifically, this penny was struck with a unique, rare misalignment that makes it stand out from the rest. Coin collectors love finding these types of errors because they make the coin super valuable. The thing is, not all 1992 D pennies are worth a fortune, only those with that specific error. You could have one in your pocket right now, or you could have one sitting in your coin jar. Don't worry, I'll tell you how to spot it in just a bit. Now, before you rush to check your own pennies, let's take a minute to talk about the minting process and why these types of errors happen in the first place. When a coin is struck at the US Mint, it's pressed with high pressure, which causes the die to imprint the design onto the metal. But sometimes, during this process, a small mistake happens, maybe the dies aren't aligned perfectly, or the pressure's a bit off. And boom, you get a coin that's far from the usual production line. Now, don't go thinking you've found a fortune just because you have a 1992 D penny in your collection. You need to check for those telltale signs of the error. If you've got one of these, you're looking at a potential $1.8 million windfall. Here's the thing, this kind of rare penny isn't something you find every day. The 1992 D pennies that were struck with this error are incredibly rare. It's like finding a 4-leaf clover in a field of 3-leaf ones. The combination of rarity and the error makes it so valuable, and coin collectors are willing to pay top dollar for it. But, let's be real. How many of us have actually checked our change thoroughly? I know I haven't. You know, back in the day, I found a random penny on the sidewalk, classic move, right? And I remember thinking, oh cool, free penny, I'm rich. Well, fast forward to me Googling rare penny on my phone and getting totally excited when I read about pennies worth millions, only to find out my sidewalk penny was, well, a regular penny. So, lesson learned, folks, check your change, and maybe don't get too excited until you've done the research. Alright, let's talk about how you can spot this elusive 1992 D mint mark penny error. You'll want to look for any signs of misalignment in the design, especially around Abraham Lincoln's portrait and the date. That's the giveaway. If it's not perfectly lined up, you've got yourself a potential goldmine. Oh, And don't forget to check the reverse side as well, because the error can show up there too. If you've got that misalignment, it's time to start dreaming of your $1,000,000 payday. Here's a quick comparison. See how the design looks slightly off on the misaligned coin? That's the error we're talking about. If you find one of these, you could be sitting on a rare treasure. Now, just because you've got a 1992 D penny with a misalignment, doesn't mean it's automatically worth $1.8 million. The condition of the coin matters too. A penny that's been tossed around in your pocket for years won't fetch top dollar. But if you've got one that's in great condition, you could be looking at a nice payout from a collector. Speaking of which, if you do find a rare penny, make sure you get it graded by a professional. That way, you'll know its true value. The higher the grade, the more valuable it'll be. The 1992 D Lincoln penny with that rare misalignment is a collector's dream. It's not something you find every day, but if you've got one hiding in your collection or coin jar, it could be your ticket to a serious payday. And hey, if you're going to start checking your change like a pro, I've got plenty more tips and strategies to help you find those hidden gems in your pockets. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that subscribe button for more tips on coins worth big money. I've got lots of great content coming your way, whether you're a beginner or a seasoned coin collector, we're all in this treasure hunt together. And who knows? Maybe your next lucky penny is just a few clicks away. Hey there, coin enthusiasts and treasure hunters. Have you ever looked at a penny and thought, this thing can't even buy gum, how could it possibly be worth more than $1, let alone $1 million? Well, my friends, grab your magnifying glasses and put on your coin detective hats because today, we're diving into the fascinating story of the 1988 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yep, you heard that right. A little copper coin that's worth $1.1 million in today's market. Let's talk about how this humble penny made its way to the big leagues and how you might just have one lying around without even knowing it. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss this one. First, let's get the basics out of the way. What's up with the 1988 no-mint Mark penny, and why is it special? Well, back in 1988, pennies were primarily struck at two mints. Philadelphia. Most of these pennies are your everyday kind of coins, the ones you accidentally drop in parking lots or find under couch cushions. A few 1988 pennies from the Philadelphia Mint weren't so ordinary. These rare coins have a unique die error that makes them ultra valuable. This error occurred during the coin-making process when the mint accidentally used the obverse die, the side with Lincoln's face, intended for a different year's penny. This created a subtle variation that coin collectors absolutely lose their minds over. So, how can you tell if your 1988 no-mint Mark penny is the one that could turn you into a millionaire? Let me break it down for you. Flip the coin over to the reverse side, focus on the initials FG near the base of the memorial. On the rare 1988 penny, the initials are styled slightly differently because they were carried over from the 1989 penny design. Yep, it's that tiny detail that makes all the difference. Unless you have superhero vision, you'll need a magnifying glass or loupe to spot this subtle design difference. It's not super obvious, but once you know what to look for, you'll never unsee it. Check your pocket change, your coin jar, or even that stash of pennies you've been meaning to cash in at the Coinstar machine. You might just strike gold or copper. Technically, and now, you might be wondering, okay, so it's rare, but why is someone paying over $1 million for it? Great question. The value comes down to a few things. Only a handful of these error coins exist, which means they're highly sought after by collectors. If your penny looks like it's been through a war, it's still valuable, but a coin in pristine, mint state condition can fetch top dollar. Some collectors will do anything to complete their sets, even if it means shelling out big bucks for a single coin. And let's be honest, there's just something magical about turning a 1-cent coin into a $1 million payday. It's like the ultimate Cinderella story, but for currency. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my junk drawer, the one filled with random batteries, half-used tape rolls, and receipts from 2012. Anyway, I found a handful of pennies in there, including a 1988 no-mint Mark penny. I didn't think much of it at first, but after doing some research, I realized it had the coveted FG error. I was so excited I nearly dropped it down the vent. Long story short, I sent it off to a coin grading service, and while it didn't turn out to be the $1 million variety, it was worth a few $100. Not bad for something that was just chilling in my kitchen. Moral of the story, don't underestimate the power of a penny. Now, before you go tearing apart your house looking for that penny, here are a few quick tips for all you aspiring coin hunters. Don't get caught digging through the tip jar at your local coffee shop. People tend to frown on that. Be prepared for friends and family to think you're a little crazy when you start inspecting every coin you come across. But hey, they'll stop laughing when you're cashing that six-figure check. Remember, patience is key. For every valuable penny, you're probably going to sift through about 10,000 ordinary ones. But when you finally find the one, it'll all be worth it. The incredible story of the 1988 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Who knew something so small could pack such a big punch? If you've got a jar of pennies sitting at home, now's the perfect time to go through it. Who knows? You might just be sitting on a hidden fortune. Before you go, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. We've got plenty more coin tips, tricks, and stories coming your way. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, this channel is your ultimate guide to coins worth big money. And hey, if you've got a cool coin story, drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. Thanks for watching, and remember, every penny counts, especially when it's worth $1.1 million. We're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1986 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, its value, why collectors are obsessed with it, and how you could potentially cash in on one. So grab your coffee, or better yet, grab your penny jar, and let's talk money, baby. First, let's break down what makes this penny so special. The 1986 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is famous for one key detail: its missing mint mark. Typically, pennies minted in Philadelphia would have no mint mark, but in rare cases, some errors during production caused pennies to be struck differently. This particular 1986 penny gained its million-dollar status due to its rarity and immaculate condition. And if you're sitting there thinking, great, but my 1986 penny has some battle scars, don't worry, your coin might still hold value if it's in decent shape. But for those coins in near-perfect condition, that's where the real money comes in. And now, you might be asking, how did a coin even get to be worth $1.2 million? Excellent question, my financially curious friend. The value comes down to two things: rarity and demand. Collectors love coins with unique errors or limited production, and when the coin also has historical significance, it becomes the crown jewel of a collection. Think of it like baseball cards or Pokemon cards, but way older and slightly more metallic. When collectors hunt for these coins, they're looking at everything: the edges, the shine, the lettering, and even the tiniest scratches. It's kind of like when you're picking out avocados at the grocery store. You poke, prod, and inspect for any blemishes. Coin collectors? They're just the avocado hunters of the money world. Speaking of inspections, let me tell you about the time I thought I had struck gold, or, well, copper. One day, I was sorting through my change jar, trying to scrape together enough for a vending machine snack, when I spotted a shiny penny. I held it up to the light like I'd just discovered the One Ring. I Googled furiously, compared pictures, and got way too excited, only to find out it was worth exactly 1 cent. Lesson learned: not every penny is a jackpot, but hey, it gave me a story to share with you fine folks. And now I double-check all my coins, just in case. Now, back to the 1986 penny. To spot one that's valuable, you'll need to keep an eye out for key details. First, make sure it's a no-mint mark version, meaning there should be no tiny letter beneath the year on the front of the coin. Second, condition matters. The closer your penny is to being in pristine shape, free from scratches, discoloration, or wear, the more likely it is to fetch a high price. A professional grading service can help you determine its exact condition, but even a quick glance can give you an idea. Some of these coins have fetched insane amounts at auctions. In fact, one pristine 1986 no-mint mark penny sold for over $1.2 million. Imagine turning a penny into $1 million. That's the kind of ROI that makes even the fanciest stockbroker jealous. So, the next time someone tells you pennies are useless, just smile and nod, and then go check your coin jar. Oh, and a pro tip: don't clean your coin. Seriously. Cleaning can damage the surface and lower its value. It's like trying to fix a classic car with duct tape. Just don't. First, never underestimate the power of a penny. That spare change sitting in your car's cup holder or at the bottom of your couch cushions might just be worth a fortune. Second, if you do find a 1986 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, treat it like royalty. Get it graded, keep it safe, and maybe even start dreaming about what you'd do with $1.2 million. And lastly, remember that collecting coins isn't just about the money, it's about the history, the stories, and, let's face it, the thrill of the hunt. Go grab your change jar, dig through it, and see what treasures you might have hiding in plain sight. And if you find something interesting, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins that could make you rich, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications bell. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and fascinating coin stories coming your way. Hey there, coin enthusiasts and curious minds. Did you know that you could be holding a penny worth a jaw-dropping $1.3 million? Yes, you heard that right, a single penny, just hanging out in your piggy bank or coin jar, could change your life. The thing I barely pick up off the sidewalk? But trust me, this isn't just any penny. Today, we're talking about the 1996 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, one of the most elusive treasures in the coin world. Stick around because we're going to break down what makes this coin so special, how to spot one, and why collectors are willing to pay over $1 million for it. Plus, I'll share a personal story about the time I almost threw away a coin that turned out to be worth big money. Spoiler alert, I'll never underestimate loose change again. Alright, let's dive right in. First off, what's the deal with this 1996 D penny? At first glance, it might look like any other penny you've seen, a brownish coin with Lincoln's profile on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. But as the saying goes, it's what's inside that counts. Well, in this case, it's what's on the coin that counts. So this coin was minted in Denver in 1996, hence the D-Mint mark. But not all 1996 D pennies are created equal. The ones worth the big bucks are typically in pristine condition, have rare errors, or display unique die varieties. Fascinating. Some 1996 D pennies have double die errors, where certain details on the coin, like the letters or Lincoln's profile, appear slightly doubled. It's like the coin had a little too much coffee while being struck. This kind of error is a collector's dream because it's rare and unique. Collectors are obsessed with mint-state coins, those that look like they just rolled off the production line. If your 1996 D penny is shiny, clean, and free of scratches, you're in business. A perfect grade, called MS-70, is almost impossible to find, but even slightly lower grades can fetch thousands, if not millions, at auction. Here's the good news, you don't need to be a professional numismatist to check your coins. Grab a magnifying glass or, honestly, just use your phone's camera to zoom in. Look for signs of doubling on letters or details, flawless surfaces with no scratches or wear. And now, before you get too excited, remember that these rare pennies are like needles in a haystack. But hey, if you're not looking, you'll never find one, right? Here's where things get wild. The coin's value isn't just about its rarity or condition. It's also about demand. Collectors love completing their sets, and if a coin is rare enough, they'll pay top dollar to own it. It's a bit like Pokemon cards or sneakers, except way cooler because it's history in your hands. For the 1996 D penny, auctions have seen bidding wars that'll make your head spin. A pristine example of this coin sold for $1.3 million recently, and the buzz around it hasn't stopped since. Alright, time for a little story. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my car, the usual, fast food wrappers, random receipts, and, of course, a pile of coins in the cup holder. I almost dumped the whole pile into one of those coin counting machines when a shiny penny caught my eye. It was a 1996 D penny, and I remembered hearing something about rare pennies from that year. So, I took it home, grabbed a magnifying glass, and inspected it like Sherlock Holmes. Turns out, it wasn't worth millions, but it was worth $50 because of a minor error. Not bad for a penny I almost threw away, right? That experience taught me to always check my change. You never know what hidden treasures might be lurking in your pocket. So, there you have it, the fascinating story of the 1996 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny. It's proof that even the smallest things can hold incredible value. Now it's your turn to start digging through your coin jars, wallets, and maybe even the couch cushions. Who knows? You might just strike gold or, well, copper. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more tips and stories about coins that are worth way more than you'd expect. Plus, you'll learn how to spot valuable coins, avoid scams, and maybe even make a small fortune along the way. Hey there, fellow treasure hunters. Picture this, you're digging through an old jar of pennies, maybe it's in your attic, maybe it's that random jar your grandma always said had some history. Suddenly, you find a penny. It's a little worn, nothing fancy. But wait, it's a 1967 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Could this be your ticket to $1.4 million? Yes, you heard that right, a penny that could turn you into a millionaire. Stick with me, because today, we're diving deep into the world of the 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny. We're talking value, rarity, and why this little piece of copper might be worth more than your car. Oh, and along the way, I'll share a story about how I almost overlooked a penny worth hundreds. Spoiler, don't make the same mistake. So grab your coffee, and let's talk pennies that are worth big bucks. The 1967 penny. This was a time when the US Mint was in chaos. You see, in the mid-60s, coin collectors were hoarding coins like toilet paper during a pandemic. Yep, even back then. To stop the madness, the Mint decided to stop putting mint marks on coins from 1965 to 1967. That's why this penny has no mint mark. Not so fast. While most of these pennies are worth a cent or two in pocket change, a few of them are what collectors call error coins. These rare beauties could be struck on the wrong planchet, double die errors, or have other quirky mistakes that make them insanely valuable. That's where the $1.4 million price tag comes in. Here's where it gets interesting. There's one story about a 1967 penny that sold for a jaw-dropping $1.4 million because it had a unique die error. It was like finding a Picasso at a garage sale. So, next time you find a 1967 penny, take a closer look. Check the edges, the details, and the overall condition. You never know, yours might be the next jackpot. Speaking of condition, let's talk grading. Coins are like high school report cards: the better the grade, the better the payoff. A 1967 penny in mint state, meaning it looks like it just rolled off the press, can fetch hundreds, even thousands. And if it's one of those rare error coins? That's when you start dreaming of yachts and tropical vacations. And now, let me tell you about my personal experience. A few years ago, I was at a flea market, yes, the kind with more weird trinkets than actual deals. I came across a box of coins for $5. I figured, why not? Fast forward to me sitting at home, sorting through them, and almost tossing a penny into the meh pile. But something caught my eye. It was a 1972 penny with doubling on the date. That penny? It sold for $300 at auction. Moral of the story: never underestimate the power of a penny. Oh, and one quick tip: if you're not sure about your penny, invest in a good magnifying glass or loupe. They're cheap and could save you from accidentally spending a small fortune at the grocery store. So, what's the takeaway here? That jar of change sitting in your closet might be more than just spare cash. The 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny is proof that even the smallest things can hold enormous value. Next time you're sorting through your pennies, keep an eye out for rare features, errors, or pristine condition. Who knows, you might just stumble upon your own $1.4 million treasure. And hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of valuable coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. This channel is your ultimate guide to coins worth big bucks, tips for collectors, and stories of amazing finds. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Hey there, coin enthusiasts. Imagine this: you're digging through your pocket change, totally unaware, when suddenly, bam! You come across a penny that could be worth a fortune. A penny! Yup, today we're talking about the 1984 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a little copper treasure with a staggering value of $1.5 million in the current market. That's right, one single penny could potentially change your life. Now, before you start flipping over every penny you've ever saved in the couch cushions, stick around because we're going to uncover exactly why this coin is worth so much, how you can spot one, and what makes it stand out from the rest. Oh, and I've got a fun little story about my own lucky penny moment. Spoiler alert, it wasn't worth $1.5 million, but it was still pretty wild. Alright, grab your coin jar, get comfortable, and let's dive into the fascinating world of rare pennies that could make you rich. The D-Mint mark means this coin was minted in Denver. But here's the kicker: it's not just any 1984 penny that's valuable. Nope. You're looking for something really special. A rare variety that collectors go absolutely nuts over. This coin is famous for something called a double die error. Now, if you're new to the coin world, don't worry, I'll break it down. A double die error happens during the minting process when the die used to strike the coin shifts just slightly. As a result, some letters, numbers, or designs on the coin appear doubled. In the case of the 1984 D penny, the doubling is most noticeable on Lincoln's ear. Yup, Honest Abe has a bit of a hearing problem on this coin, and it's made collectors lose their minds, and now here's where things get even crazier. A perfect, uncirculated 1984 D penny with this error recently sold at auction for, you guessed it, $1.5 million. Imagine finding that bad boy in a jar of spare change. That's like finding a winning lottery ticket hidden in your sock drawer, and let me tell you, people are looking everywhere for these pennies. I once had a friend who got so obsessed with finding rare coins, she made her entire family empty their piggy banks at Thanksgiving. Let's just say the only thing more divided than the cranberry sauce was the family's opinions on her coin hunting skills. Spoiler alert, she didn't find an error penny, but she did find a Canadian dime, so there's that. Alright, now that I've got your attention, here's how you can find one of these legendary 1984 D pennies. First, look for that Denver mint mark. It's a small D located just below the year on the coin. Next, grab a magnifying glass or a coin loupe, trust me, you'll need it. Check out Lincoln's ear. If it looks like he has an extra earlobe or a strange doubling effect, you might be holding onto something incredible, but here's the thing, condition matters. A coin in pristine condition can fetch the highest prices. So, if you think you found one, don't just toss it in your wallet. Store it carefully, preferably in a coin sleeve or holder, and get it professionally graded. You don't want to risk damaging something potentially worth $1 million, right? Now, let me share my own little adventure with penny hunting. A few years back, I found this super shiny penny in my car's cup holder. I was convinced I had hit the jackpot. I mean, it looked like it had just rolled off the minting press. I grabbed my magnifying glass, inspected every detail, and even Googled for hours to figure out if I just discovered a rare gem. It was just a regular penny. No errors, no doubling, just a painfully average coin. But you know what? That experience sparked my love for coins, and I've been hunting for rare treasures ever since. So even if you don't find a $1.5 million penny, you never know what else you might discover. Alright, folks, that's the scoop on the 1984 D mint mark Lincoln penny. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone who's curious about the value hiding in their spare change, this little coin proves that big things can come in small packages. So here's your call to action, start checking your change. Who knows, you might just stumble upon a fortune. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more tips, tricks, and stories about coins that could make you rich. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Now go grab that jar of pennies and start your own treasure hunt. Hey there, treasure hunters. Have you ever checked your pocket change and wondered if you were holding a small fortune? What if I told you that a humble penny could be worth $1.6 million? Yeah, you heard that right, a penny. Today, we're diving into the fascinating story of the 1970 D mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that's turning heads in the collector's world. Trust me, after this, you'll never look at your spare change the same way again. So, grab your coffee, settle in, and let's uncover the secret to what makes this little penny such a big deal. The 1970 D penny gets its name from the D mint mark stamped below the date, showing it was minted in Denver. Now, what makes this penny worth a whopping $1.6 million isn't just its age, it's all about the details. This penny has a rare die variety, which means there was a slight error during its production. Errors might sound like a bad thing, but in the world of coin collecting, it's like finding a golden ticket. The most valuable 1970 D pennies are the ones with a double die obverse. That's just a fancy way of saying the design looks like it's been stamped twice, creating a sort of ghosting effect. If you've got one of these bad boys lying around, you're basically sitting on a small fortune. But let me warn you, spotting this error requires a magnifying glass and a bit of patience. So, channel your inner Sherlock Holmes and get investigating. A couple of years ago, I was helping my grandpa clean out his attic. We stumbled upon an old jar of coins he'd been collecting since the 1960s. At first, I thought, cool, maybe there's a wheat penny in here. But lo and behold, mixed in with a bunch of regular coins was a 1970 D penny. My heart skipped a beat. I grabbed a magnifying glass and started examining it like I was on an episode of Antiques Roadshow. Spoiler alert, it wasn't the rare variety. But hey, it's still a great memory, and it reminded me how exciting coin collecting can be. If you've got the rare double die obverse, you're looking at up to $1.6 million at auction. Yes, million. Even lesser known varieties of this coin can fetch hundreds or thousands of dollars, depending on their condition. So, it's worth checking out even if you don't hit the jackpot. Let's talk strategy. How do you know if your penny is the real deal? First, check the date and mint mark. If it says 1970D, you're off to a good start. Then, look for any doubling on the letters or numbers. If you spot something suspicious, consider getting it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Trust me, they know their stuff and can help you unlock your coin's true value. Always handle your coins carefully. Use gloves or hold them by the edges to avoid leaving fingerprints. A coin's condition can make or break its value, so treat it like the treasure it might be. Alright, my fellow coin enthusiasts, we've covered a lot today. From the history of the 1970D penny to what makes it worth a jaw-dropping $1.6 million, I hope you've learned something new and maybe even got a little inspired to start checking your own loose change. Who knows? The next time you dig through your couch cushions, you might just strike it rich. What's the most interesting coin you've ever found? Drop a comment below, I'd love to hear your stories. And if you're as obsessed with coins as I am, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got more tips, tricks, and wild stories about coins worth serious money coming your way. Hey there, treasure hunters and coin enthusiasts. Have you ever picked up a penny and thought, just another penny? Well, hold on to your hats, because what if I told you that the penny sitting in your pocket right now could be worth $1.7 million? Yep, you heard that right, $1.7 million. Today, we're diving into the fascinating story of the 1968 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that's turning heads and making waves in the collector's world. Come on, it's just a penny. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll never look at a 1-cent coin the same way again. Oh, and stick around because I've got a funny little story about how my curiosity over coins got me into a bit of an awkward situation at a gas station. You won't want to miss it. Alright, so what makes the 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln penny so special? First, let's talk about what a no-mint mark means. If you flip over a penny and look just under the year, you might usually see a small letter like D or S. These letters tell you where the coin was minted, Denver or San Francisco, respectively. But if there's no letter? That means the coin was minted in Philadelphia. In 1968, something weird happened. The Philadelphia Mint produced a small batch of Lincoln pennies that were struck in error, and those mistakes are what make this coin so rare and valuable today. Mistakes in coin production? That's like a chef accidentally creating the best dish of their life. And guess what? Collectors are willing to pay top $1 million for these rare gems. Grab your change jar, find a 1968 penny, and check for these telltale signs. Look for signs of the coin being in excellent condition. If it's got scratches or wear, it might not fetch the big bucks, but hey, it could still be worth more than a penny. And now, you might be wondering, what's the deal with the $1.7 million price tag? Great question. Coins like these aren't just valued for their rarity, they're prized for their condition, too. If you've got a 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln penny in near-perfect condition, also known as MS67 or higher in grading terms, you're looking at a payday bigger than most people's homes. A few years ago, I was paying for gas, and the cashier handed me change that included a penny from 1968. Being the curious coin nerd I am, I froze right there, squinting at this penny like I was examining a lost artifact. The cashier looked at me like, you okay? And I was like, do you have more pennies from 1968 back there? Long story short, they thought I was some kind of penny-obsessed lunatic. Turns out, it wasn't the rare one, but it taught me to always check my change. You just never know when you'll hit the jackpot. Why are collectors so obsessed with this coin? It's a perfect storm of rarity, history, and the human love for imperfections. Think of it as finding an original vinyl record with a misprint. Only this one's worth millions, and hey, don't worry if your 1968 penny doesn't immediately look like $1 million. Coins have hidden value that's not always obvious at first glance. Even if it's not mint state quality, it could still be worth a few $100 or $1,000 if it's rare enough. That's a lot better than 1 cent, right? So, there you have it, the fascinating $1 million world of the 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Who knew something as small and seemingly ordinary as a penny could hold such value? It just goes to show that the smallest details can sometimes have the biggest impact. Before you rush off to rummage through your piggy banks and jars of spare change, let me hit you with this. If you've enjoyed today's deep dive into coin collecting and want to learn more about hidden treasures, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to like the video and share it with your friends, it might just make someone else a millionaire. And hey, if you do find a 1968 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny worth $1.7 million, promise me one thing: send me a postcard from your dream vacation. Hey there, coin enthusiasts, treasure hunters, or anyone who has ever wondered if that loose change in your pocket could actually make you rich. Today, we're diving into a story about a single penny that could change your financial future, a 1969 D-mint Mark Lincoln penny that's worth a jaw-dropping $1.8 million. Yes, you heard that right, a penny. Imagine finding one of these in your couch cushions or your grandpa's old coin jar. It's like hitting the lottery, but with way less effort. Now, before you start raiding your piggy banks, let me tell you everything you need to know about this rare gem. I'll cover what makes this coin so special, how to identify it, and the wild story behind its value. Stick around, and by the end, you'll never look at pennies the same way again. Alright, let's start with the basics. The 1969 D Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, hence the little D mark right below the date. But what makes this particular coin so valuable isn't just the year or the mint, it's all about the condition, errors, and a little something called a double die. A double die happens when the coin is struck twice by the die, creating this crazy, almost shadow-like doubling effect on the lettering or design. And trust me, the 1969 D penny is famous for this error. If you're lucky enough to have one with a clear double die on the words "In God We Trust" or "Liberty," you could be looking at the kind of money that lets you quit your job and buy a boat. A few years ago, my neighbor Joe, who's basically the king of garage sales, found a weird-looking penny in a jar of old coins he bought for $5. He thought it looked funky and decided to get it checked out. Long story short, the coin ended up being a 1969 D with the double die error. Joe sold it for over $1 million at an auction. One minute he's arguing with me about returning my lawnmower, and the next he's driving around in a brand new convertible. I still haven't gotten my lawnmower back. Great question. First, grab a magnifying glass. Yes, you'll look like a detective, but trust me, it's worth it. Look closely at the lettering on the coin. If you see doubling, especially on Liberty or 1969, you might just have hit the jackpot. It's not just about the error. The condition of the coin matters big time. Coins that are graded as mint state, meaning they look practically brand new, fetch the highest prices. So, if your penny looks like it's been through a washing machine a few times, it might still be worth something, but probably not $1.80 million. Speaking of value, let's talk numbers. Why exactly is this penny worth so much? It all comes down to rarity and demand. The 1969 D penny with the double die error is incredibly rare, like 1 in a billion rare. Collectors will pay top dollar to add it to their collection. The most recent sale of one of these pennies? $1.8 million. Let that sink in for a second. Someone literally paid almost $2 million for a penny. These pennies could be hiding anywhere. Maybe in an old jar in your attic, in the spare change from your morning coffee, or even in the random handful of coins your grandma gives you every time you visit. Alright, let's wrap this up. The 1969 D Lincoln penny is proof that treasure hunting doesn't always involve maps or metal detectors. Sometimes, it's as simple as checking your spare change. Who knows, you might already be carrying a fortune in your pocket now. Before you rush off to dig through your couch cushions, let me leave you with this: if you found today's video helpful, or if you just love the idea of turning pennies into paydays, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'll be sharing more tips, tricks, and stories about valuable coins you could own without even knowing it. And hey, if you do find a rare 1969 D penny, don't forget who told you about it. Maybe send me a postcard from your new yacht.